Get ready to witness history in the making. Live, the first ever contest in the Olympic Stadium. The Manly Sea Eagles battle arch rivals the Newcastle Knights.
He scores!
Live from Stadium Australia.
Stadium Australia at Homebush in Sydney, home of the Olympics and home of rugby league today, and certainly rugby league fans have taken this stadium to heart. It is a sellout. There were 290 tickets available this morning. They sold in a flash, so this stadium is sold out. We are going to see 110,000 rugby league fans here. That is a world record. Manly and Newcastle have the privilege, the honour and I guess the moment in history, because they will christen the turf here, and we are looking forward, Steve Mortimer, very much to a good clash between the grand final protagonists from 2 years ago.
Wonderful, wonderful game coming on now with Warren Ryan, the new coach at Newcastle Knights. Expect to see a lot more stronger starch defence there. Bobby Fulton, probably his last year, will want to go out a winner, so there's plenty of interesting curls to what's going to be happening out here in about 1 minute's time.
Two key players in this game, Andrew Johns for the Knights and Jeff Tuvey for the Sea Eagles. Here they are, the stars head-to-head, and Jeff Tuvey has it all over Andrew Johns in terms of actual games, but the representative experience is pretty much the same.
Well, very much so. Jeff Tuvey, he's the older player. Jeff Tuvey is more a doer. Andrew Johns is the playmaker. He'll set up opportunities for his outside backs and also for his forwards inside. He's more the playmaker, Andrew Johns, and more crucial to Newcastle's chance, I believe, in this game.
Right. Well, Tuvey, in the very well-known words of Thomas Keneally, it's not very long now until the ref blows that whistle and sends that ball soaring. So we will now go to our commentators for the day, and the head man in the booth is Warren Smith.
Thank you, Cameron. We have had some season openers in seasons past in rugby league in Australia, but we are about to see something very, very special, Gary Freeman. There is no doubt about that.
The big thing about it is that probably here with Glenn Lazarus and myself, we'd probably love to be out there and play in this game, but some magnificent matchups in the Knights and the Sea Eagles. I just think it's going to be one hell of a game of footy. You'll see plenty of free-flowing football and some really big hits in the middle of the ruck, Glenn.
Certainly will, Gary Freeman. I think that it'll be won and lost in the forwards. I just don't know whether Manly's forward pack can contain what is a very, very good pack in the Newcastle Knights. Very interested in the hooking duel between Jim Sedaris and Steve Wallace. Steve Wallace, of course, playing his first game for the Newcastle Knights, so that's going to be a very interesting one. Manly will rely heavily on their back three, as they have done in years gone past, but overall I think Newcastle just too good, not all over the park, but certainly will come out winners today.
We saw both sides out on the middle of this arena warming up just moments ago. They are now back in the dressing rooms. What a view that is. We're not quite at capacity yet, but it won't be too far away before 110,000 people will roar themselves hoarse when both these sides run onto the field. What a feeling that would be.
Yeah, look, I think there'll be some very nervous boys at the moment in the Newcastle and Manly sides. A lot of big game plays, but also a lot of young guys playing first grade out here today for the very first time. And I just wonder whether the crowd on either end of this stadium, I hope they don't suffer from vertigo, mate, because I tell you, there'll be a lot of sick people by the end of the day.
We're moments away from rugby league becoming a part of the Olympic Stadium. Paul Harrigan leads on the Newcastle Knights at Stadium Australia. There are plenty of Newcastle fans here. They have come down in their busloads, almost by the 100. There is the Newcastle Knights lineup. Mark Hughes, the fullback. A couple of new faces there, but of course the men to watch, the Johns brothers, Matthew and Andrew, and the coach returning from a sabbatical of 5 years, Warren Ryan, back at the head of a NRL rugby league team.
Yeah, there's plenty of pressure, they were saying, on Warren Ryan, but I'll tell you what the other pressure's on is Bob Fulton, whose side didn't go that crash on last year, and Warren's got nothing really to prove. He's been out of the game for 5 years now. As the Manly side come on, the little man leading the way out there, Jeff Tuvey.
He came to prominence in 1988. the Seagulls took on the Englishmen at Brookvale. But this must be something special for Jeff Tooby as he leads on his club.
We used to see very physical games between the two sides. I don't think we'll see anything different. There's a lot of pride here at stake today. To be the first side to win on this wonderful stadium, Australia, and I just think the first 10 minutes of this game is going to be something to see.
The former Illawarra player, Brendan Reeves at fullback. Of course, that halves combination, Tooby and Field, will see them swap their roles, I'm sure, throughout the game. And one change as far as their starting lineup is concerned. Adam Peters comes into the pack, replacing Neil Tinney, who moves onto the interchange bench. And we've already heard from Bob Fulton saying what a privilege he feels it is to be part of such an historic occasion. The Manly side will defend the northern end of Stadium Australia. The referee is Stephen Clark. About nerves of the players. That man as well will be feeling a few of them. About to blow time on for the first event ever in this marvellous stadium.
Yeah, mate, I got you. They're just looking for some sand, apparently.
Well, not everything can go to plan, can it? We've got 110,000 people almost. Somebody forgot to bring the sand.
Right.
Well, now they usually use a kicking tee, don't they? So interesting to note that the players from Manly are still using the sand, and probably Graham Mackay that will kick off with the Manly side. But as Glenn Lazarus did say, Steve Walters, I think he'll have a big season this year under Warren Ryan and with the Newcastle Knights. He's a great player, and you know, his scoots out of dumb out for being exceptionally good to here today.
Graham Mackay there, of course, the former Gold Coast Charger, played for West and Eastern Suburbs before that. It looks as though he will have the honour of kicking off in this first game at this brand new stadium. What an addition to the back line he is, partnering Terry Hill in the centres. We have time on at the Olympic Stadium. Manly versus Newcastle. What a beginning. Lomax it is who brings it out of his own in-goal area. And it's Lenny Beckett, just 18 years of age, who'll play it now for Newcastle. The left-hand side they come, a mistake early on. Sedaris wrapped up. Well, a great chance here for Manly.
It certainly is, and Harrigan really come up with the drop ball. You won't see him do that much in a game of rugby league. But again, he could have been penalised at that tackle play. He just jumped the gun very early.
Joseph now takes it up to the line, just 5 metres out.
Just look like a little bit of a nervous start there for Big Chief Harrigan. He hasn't played for 6 to 8 months, and he'll try and make up for that now. There's been a forward pass, and Newcastle have had their pressure relieved somewhat.
Paul Harrigan will be breathing a big sigh of relief after making that mistake. The Manly defence was up to greet him very early, and I'm sure that was present in his mind as he hit the line there. And there's that pass just floating forward from field to Menzies. Johns away from the back of the scrum, tackled by Tooby. Just over 1 minute gone. Come to the left-hand side again.
Oh, that's great defence. Tremendous Daniel Gartner and Kosef once again.
Here's Harrigan. No butterflies this time as he plays it 30 metres out from the Newcastle line. And Matthew Johnson onto Lomax. Steve Clark ruling the Manly defence a little slow to got the tackle player there. The second man coming in to try and slow the ball down. And for the first time in this game, Newcastle go on the attack.
You got him, boys. Clear him, clear him. Up, Jimmy.
Butterfield. Matthew John stepping off that left foot, so dangerous he is with the ball in his hands. Offers a dummy half. His skirt. Trying to pick up some easy meters. Wrapped up.
I think we've noticed already with the Newcastle side, they don't seem to be backing each other up. They seem a little bit afraid to go with Steve Walters. There's another forward pass. Really not sitting into the games both sides.
Well, we spoke about nerves before the start of this game. Perhaps we're seeing a couple early on, Glenn.
Yeah, look, in our game last night, both sides started off very, very nervous, and this game is certainly no different. Another couple of minutes and they'll settle into their game patterns, and we'll see some good footy.
We probably think it's like a grand final, don't we, Glenn, where we think the sides will be playing all season. But what we've got to remember, and the fans out there, that it is the first game of the round and for the season.
Well, you can't blame them for getting a little bit carried away when they're playing in front of nearly 100,000 people. But look, they'll settle down, as I said, and we'll just see the football play.
An early blood beginning to change here for both sides. Steve Crouch coming into the side for Manly, taking his place in the field for the first time. Joseph was the player who was replaced as Terry Hill. He'll play it, 22 out from his own line as Tuvey comes back to the right-hand side. Menzies is wrapped up. Sedaris getting the first hit up.
Donning the headgear too today.
Gartner, picked up and dumped heavily. Good tackle in low was Johns. That's Andrew Johns in conjunction with Billy Peden. And Gartner isn't all that well.
Yes, I think he's somewhere in Disneyland at the moment.
Well, it was just great defence. Andrew Johns going down nice low, picks up that left leg of this big second rower, and Gartner, and watch the back of his head here. Boom! Oh, and as you said, Glenn, in Disneyland, seeing Mickey Mouse.
Well, as predicted, it's a fairly physical start to the game.
Really was a hard knock to the back of the head for Daniel Gartner. He'll do well to get to his feet and play it here and just leave the field. Miami trainer Brian Hollis out there. He wants Gartner to leave the field. I'm sure he will do that.
I think what they're really waiting on there was for Nick Kosef to get stitched up to get back on the field quickly, so it allowed Gartner to come off, because he doesn't know where he is. He doesn't even know he's at the stadium.
On the line, boys. Line.
Kosef, after being taped up, will play the ball. Sedaris gives it off to Crouch. 10 metres short of the halfway line. Field. He turns it back. It's Reeves who'll do the clearing. Wasn't a great kick. It was set up quite nicely for Mark Hughes in good position. This big crowd for the moment, just a little bit quiet. Another penalty to the Knights.
Wait. Behind him, boys.
The new boy for the Manly side, Graham Mackay, just getting a little bit too anxious there and holding the player down.
The Knights on the attack once again, running towards the majority of their fans at this terrific new stadium. Walters at dummy half. Eager defence again from Manly, up very quickly. Johns taking it to the line with the ball in his hands. Takes the tackle. 20 metres out, right in front of the post. Matthew Johns to the right-hand side. Lomax couldn't come up with it. Field tried to dive on it, and I think he got there for Manly. Yes, he did.
Yeah, very good work there by Craig Field. Get down nice and low. Get on that ball early. Then try to pick it up.
10 metres, boys.
The Knights on this occasion just a little bit too eager to get up quickly.
Hold there.
5 minutes gone, and Manly, to this point, the only team to make it into the opponent's 20.
Turn him over, just get up, don't touch.
Sedaris gives it away to Crouch. He's met by 3 Knights. Brought down just outside the Newcastle 30. Reeves from the back of the ruck. Beat a couple. It was a good tackle from Butterfield that took him to ground. Tuvey as they spread it to the right-hand side. Field to Hill. He gives it off to Torrens. He beat one who came again. That was the centre, Owen Craigie, who brought him to ground just 9 metres out. Field to Tuvey. Turns it back inside to Crouch. They'll settle it there. Still 10 metres out. One more tackle left. Field it is. Goes to the air for the first time. It might be a little bit too deep. It is.
Being that close to the try line, I think Craig Field would have been better off. Could actually put the ball on the ground. There's plenty of players on the outside on the right-hand side to put it down and get another set of 6 back at the Newcastle side.
Walters restarts play.
That's one.
Butterfield, he'll take it up for the first tackle. Off the bench, Peter Shields comes in. His first touch in this game. First game ever at Stadium Australia. You're watching it live, of course, right here on Fox Sports. Gidley, such a beautiful mover on his feet. Graham Mackay will have his hands full with him this afternoon. Almost to the halfway line. Walters again waiting a dummy half. Johns away to Andrew Johns. Tackled by Crouch. Gives it off to Matthew Johns, to Peter Shields. Away to Gidley. Got his arms free, got the ball away. And Beckett out there is tackled 32 metres out. Penalty here coming up.
Yeah, just tell me.
He didn't actually make contact.
Number 5, John Hopewadi.
Number 5.
What did you do? What did you do?
Tried to put a knee into the tackle after it was completed.
John?
Yeah, if you want to have a talk to number 3 for an earlier one.
Yes, I do. Graham Mackay, out here as well, please. No, hang on, mate. Just have a listen. Just have a listen.
Talk to the first one, Steve. Earlier in the play, it's just a forearm dropped on the head after the player was tackled.
That was the one down there.
There was no need for it.
That was the one down there. Just went on it.
More than a talk.
You just went over vigorous in the tackle, okay? Just cool it down, Graham. Okay, thanks, mate. Right, now for listen.
This particular 3 players in the tackle, as he's tried to stand up, he's attempted to drop the knee in on the player. It hasn't made contact, but deserves a penalty.
Thanks, mate. Okay, John, come here, mate. You said it yourself. You're trying to slow it down. I know that's what you're doing, but you can't do it, eh? You've got to let him get up. Mate, if you're dominant, you've got no problems. You can hold him, but you're not dominant there, mate.
John Hopewadi, no stranger, of course, to chats with referees. Here it is again.
John Hopewadi just going with that right knee. Shouldn't be doing that. His coach Bob Fulton will not be happy with giving away another penalty.
It's the rush of blood that could prove very costly.
Harrigan turns it away to Butterfield. Matthew Johns, he's looked dangerous with the ball, and here they are just 15 metres out. Ball's again a dummy half. Peter Peden, a scything tackle of beauty right around the legs by Peters. And a little knock on as well.
I just saw it in the corner of my eye. Come in inside Manly on the
Manly
corner.
must have concentrated on their tackling in the off-season, because they're tackling very well out here today.
Oh, that was a great tackle there by Adam Peters. And you see Craig Field, Glenn, go to the referee, say, mate, how did you see that? And he said, I saw it out of the corner of my eye. Good referee.
Tuvey, away to Hill, who had to juggle it for the first time. He's brought down, still inside his own 10. I hope you're enjoying the action right around the country. You're watching on Fox Sports, Optus or Austar. Welcome to Stadium Australia.
A lot of penalties being given early on, but they're all been warranted, haven't they? They just refuse to let the player get off the ground and play the ball.
I think what both sides of both coaches told their players to try and slow down and control that ruck area. Once they get control of it, maybe then they can start using the ball out a little bit wider.
Heavy stuff in there from Peter Shields. As Peters plays it as it comes away through Tuvey. Now on to Tierney. Play the ball, a dubious one at best, as Sidaris has some space in front of him and hits Hopewadi on the burst. Tackled by Beckett and into touch. Good defence from the young winger.
Oh, tremendous defence there. It's first grade game. And going up against Hopewadi, who just trying to get one over the top of him in the last tackle. Great comeback from the young bloke here. Just watch him chase, gets hold of Hopewadi's jerseys, goes down nice and low. I thought Hopper was still going to get away with it. Takes him out of the sideline. You can't ask for anything better than that.
Just 18 years of age, his first game in first grade. What a day to make his debut. Brother of Robbie Beckett, the Penrith flyer. We haven't seen Lenny in open space yet.
Hey!
If he can run like Robbie, he'll certainly be able to motor.
You just get the feeling that this game could blow up here in a minute. They're both at each other. Both sides putting the niggling tactics into play.
You come here too. Tony, you've got to come in straight, all right? You don't. You go. Hey, you got to come in straight, mate. You come in straight. Just leave it up to me, all right, mate? You make it harder for me if you keep going the way you are. Come in straight. That's all we want.
It's good to have so many referees out there, isn't it, Glenn? The front rowers taking over from the halfbacks for a change.
We're all professional referees out there. Don't get me wrong.
Newcastle get it from the back of the scrum.
And we're always right.
Yeah, I've never been wrong.
Hughes will play it for the Knights to Shields. Big rangy second rower. Tackled again by Adam Peters, who's been doing a lot of work in defence for Manly, and another mistake. Well, there hasn't been much of a flow happening in this first game ever at this Olympic Stadium.
Well, has the side completed a set of 6 yet? I mean, I certainly can't remember one.
I don't think they have it. I think, like we've already spoken, nerves are getting them, but they're just not really settling down, are they? Not really controlling that football. I'll tell you what, this 4-pack, I think they are going to have a little bit of a set to shortly.
Tuvey working the scrum with Field standing at 5'8". They're quick to wrap him up. Gidley has been up in his face every time he's handled. Joseph, that bandage around the head. He's doing it about 33 metres of the Newcastle line. He'll play it back to Hopewadi.
What I'd like to see Manly try and do is probably go forward one more, then get at the Craigfield, put a little chip over the corner for his outside backs.
Field turning it back inside to Peters, who this time comes up with a mistake.
Now they're all getting set for all these planned moves, and they're just not doing just the little things right.
Hughes plays it back to Walters. Here's Harrigan. No Mark Carroll like the old days to greet him in those classic Manly versus Newcastle encounters. Here's Shields now over the halfway line as the Knights get a little bit of a roll on. Johns at first receiver, away to Matthew Johns. Eden working out wide as he so often does. Possession so far just about right down the middle. Andrew Johns couldn't come up with it. Menzies for a moment had it, lost it. He thought he was away and had the knock-on go both ways. Chance there for Manly.
Did Manly get an advantage there? I just don't know. He's rolling that Manly have knocked on.
You're exactly right, Glenn. That's going to be the case, and it really is hard to see where the advantage was for Manly. Andrew Johns has the ball in hand, and he's confident it's going to be a Newcastle feed. And that's exactly what it is. Piece of luck perhaps early on for the Knights.
It may have indicated that Newcastle did knock on first.
Gidley got it back on the inside to Matthew Johns, grabbed by the jumper. Gidley 10 metres out, couldn't get the ball away to Lenny Beckett. Here come Newcastle. Beckett from Matthew Johns to Andrew Johns. Shows it one way, takes the tackle. 8 metres out, straight in front of the post. Walters looking for a fast play the ball, couldn't get it. A switch now from Matthew Johns, fires a 30-metre pass to Billy Peden. He was almost away, picked up and dropped.
Can't go any closer than that, can you?
Oh, what great football though, Gidley. He started it back nearly on the halfway mark when he got around Mackay, but how unlucky was that? But great work by Billy Peden to flick the ball up. He knew Gidley was back inside. It gets it in his hands. I'll tell you, it's only Graham Mackay's right arm that really knocks it down.
Great defence from the big centre. Try saver, no doubt. Sedaris. Almost to the 30-metre line. Crouch will play it. Manly doing it tough. Getting out of their home territory at this point in time. Newcastle, especially in that last set of 6, seem to have the better of the early exchanges as far as the hit-ups go. Good tackle from Gidley around the legs of Mackay. Tuvey. Fielded in. He'll boot the ball on the last tackle. It sets up as a little bit of sand sprays from this newly laid turf. And Hughes will bring it back to the Knights.
This is where you'll see the Knights. They'll probably run out of dummy half once, but then they'll go nice and wide early in the ruck.
Come on, boys, drag it back, drag it back. Hold, go.
Lomax, another mistake. He drops the ball. Sedaris couldn't pick it up cleanly. And this time it will be a Manly feed, no doubt.
Must be a few funnel webs on that football out there at the minute.
Oh, I tell you, David Lomax, the unusual, but you know, the players, like they're looking at the ball, but they're just rushing everything.
Good. Straight, Tony.
Well, even Jim Sedaris, when the ball bounced him, he couldn't pick it up either.
Get it in, Nick. Hold it steady, boys, steady.
Tuvey turns it away to Field. Mackay, who was in the ball hard and flat. Look them unway. Go back the other as Reeves will play it. Tuvey a dummy half. Tierney now takes it up. met very heavily there. Being up in his face with Shields. Kosef. Away to Hill. Stepping back inside Torrens. And he has one to beat. They won't stop him. Terry Hill plunges over. And now there's a fight in goal after it. Steve Clark is yet to award the try. We might have a video referee decision for the first try at the new stadium.
Well, we did say that the forwards might block Glenn Lazarus, but it was the centres going toe-to-toe after Terry Hill. Looks like he's probably scored this try.
It's off, it's off. What do you want? Owen Craigie?
Did you see Nick in the back play for the lead up of the try?
Owen?
Owen?
Owen? I'll check that as well. Wait,
Stephen.
Right, mate. He's put the ball down, all right? We're going to cut the rubbish out, okay? I'm going to get the try checked on video, but cut the rubbish out, okay? Right, John, we're coming to you, mate. Just want to check to see up in the lead up to that try.
Well, we are going to go to the video referee for a number of reasons, as you just heard, but for all intents and purposes, it looks like Terry Hill has scored the opening try.
He certainly does. He did a great in and away on Owen Craig. He stepped off his right foot. You can see he's come down there nice and low. This is where Craig has come in to try and hold him up. We're trying to see now where the video referee can see if Terry Hill has got the ball down. Oh, that's down. That's not a problem. There's a little bit of concern after this here. What actually happens? I think Owen Craig is holding on and Terry's was in it just a fraction.
Stephen Clark will wait. But the mystery has been solved. Here it is again, Glenn.
Terry Hill actually stepping back inside. We're used to seeing him trying to beat his opposition on the outside, but he stepped in and then just brute strength got him across the line.
You must take that back too. It was Jason Moody who he stepped inside. Owen Craig was the man who come back in to make the tackle.
Exactly right. There it is, a try. And Terry Hill scores the try that christens this marvellous stadium. Manly 4-0 over the Knights.
Well, again, it was just a matter of completing a set of 6 tackles. They worked one in, they worked another one in, then they went wide. And we see Terry Hill, wonderful step off the right foot, and then, as I said, brute strength got him across the line in the end.
Just one thing about Terry Hill is that he does always, as Glenn, you did say, try and beat the man out the outside. But the big thing about it now, Manly are starting to let the ball get out a little bit wider too, where the Newcastle players find themselves a little bit short. They come up, they started to slide. Jason Moody got in front of his man, which allowed Terry Hill to come back on the inside, but showed tremendous strength and determination, I think, to get there, Terry Hill. A magnificent job. They put his side in front by 4 points.
Ray Mackay has the goal-kicking duties. Now 8 metres in from touch, this one. He didn't strike it all that well. It slews away to the left-hand side of the post. The Sea Eagles will play from in front. There is the...
Coming up in the news after the Rugby League.
Tuvey away. Just 2 settlers from the back of the ruck, but they've picked up 20 metres or more. Reeves looking for a runner, wrapped up by Scott Conley. Back out there for the Knights. Now Adam Brown. It's his first kick away after coming off the bench for Manly.
I know it looks boring, the running from dummy half, but as was just shown then, it can become very effective when you need to get some sets of 6 completed, and as we saw, Manly completed the 5 and kicked down, and now Newcastle are on their own 20-metre line.
Moody plays it back to Walters. Plenty of ground there for the Chief as he flings it back now. It comes through Andrew Johns. On the outside still, away to Gidley. Pushes away from Mackay. Wrapped up by Brown. No, he's not. A great ball back to Andrew Johns. He treks the crossfield looking for runners. Harrigan was there. He bypassed him. Maybe came off a Manly hand there, and then Shields' tackle. No 6 to go rule. The tackle count continues on as it goes from Walters. Away to Matthew Johns. He turns it back on the inside for Peden. The Knights have looked good with the ball, but have no points to show for it. Andrew Johns on the last tackle, hoists it to the air. The runners can't get through in time to put much pressure on Reeves, and he took it very comfortably.
Did that. The big thing about Manly, I think, the thing I've seen in this first game here is that their defence line is holding tight, and even if the Johns boys are running across the field, they just let them play what's in front of them, they're making the tackle.
Mackay plays it back to Hopewadi. Sidaris, the second of his roles, is a running forward, gets it away to field. Second phase plays, it comes to Menzies, who steps inside Moody, who's playing inside Craigie once again in the defensive line. Field, swiveling there, no way through that defence of Moody and Andrew Johns. It's on their own side of halfway. Again, it's Adam Brown who kicks deep this time on the full to Mark Hughes. A bit of room to move. Can fly in open space. Not any chances so far yet.
The first man down, Jeff Turvey, he's playing a captain's knock once again, leading from the front. This Manly side, and they're responding. You know, I must admit, I'm a little bit surprised with the scoreline. They're just getting up there, putting the man on the ground. They're doing the basics well in defence. If they can get the basics done well in attack, they could very much win this football game.
Matthew Johns scooting away from dummy half. Got it away to brother Andrew. A basketball pass. Marvellous skills from Craigie to hang on to it. One more tackle for the Knights, and Manly stretched to the left-hand side. That's where the Knights go. Matthew Johns, a cut-out ball, away to Hughes. Got it away to Gidley, wrapped up by Mackay. He drops it as well, and that will be the changeover.
Oh, they've had a great tussle out there, haven't they, Mackay and Gidley? I'll tell you what, it's pretty even as it is going into this part of the half. The first half of 20 minutes gone.
Hopewadi bouncing away from a couple. Tuvey, flat pass there to Kosef. Stephen Clark got a ruling, I'm sure, from the touch judge on a forward pass.
That was a ruling from the touch judge. He was right in front of it. The ball was just a little bit flat there to Kosef. So they're just overrunning the play, aren't they?
20 minutes gone. And Manly lead Newcastle 4-0 at the Olympic Stadiums. Plenty of errors so far. 9 for Newcastle and 6 for Manly. Plenty of experience in that front row there. Owen Cunningham leaving the field as if he needed a good blow as well. It is very warm outside. The opening weekend of the 1999 NRL season.
Square it up.
Stephen Clark still having trouble with these scrums. Andrew Johns to Matthew Johns. Craigie. Moody outside him, but took the tackle as he was swung to ground by Hill.
Oh, good work, Terry Hill. Got back nice and deep on that marker play and chased the winger out.
Matthew Johns at dummy half. It comes through Grief. It's taking 10 metres into Manly territory. Butterfield getting free almost. Tackle around the legs by Crouch. It had to be made as well. Walters running at them all the way to Brendan Reeves, who was the last line. Made a big tackle. Just 15 metres out. Can the Knights hit back? On the toes. Andrew Johns gets it back. Throws the ball to Moody. He swings out of the tackle by Torrens, and he replies. They've levelled it up. Manly and Newcastle 4-all.
That was great work by Walters to get out of the dummy half area. He made the initial pass, turned the Manly side around, and then the little halfback and Andrew Johns. This is the play off, but it really did set up this try. Even though it come off a Manly play, watch, he gets down, gets up and plays it very, very quickly. And the little bloke, Andrew Johns, goes to the line, it comes off a Manly player there. And then, once again, good vision there. But Moody, the hit and spin, it's a very good try to the Newcastle side to bounce back like that.
You can be forgiven for thinking a little bit of luck involved in that try, but the lead-up work to that try was instrumental. They just took 3 or 4 rucks up, settle it up. Steve Walters darts from dummy half. Of course, the defence is scrambling. There's 6s and 7s, and of course, once Andrew Johns gets the ball in his hand with the defence backpedaling, more often than not, it does result in a try. Both sides settling down, Warren, so it just it's taken them a little while, but now we're starting to see some really top quality football.
Andrew Johns it is who has the chance to put the Knights in front for the first time. They threatened on a couple of occasions. Gidley had a chance on the other side of the field. Finally it was Moody who got them on the board for the first time in '99. Looks good. Oh, hits the upright. We remain deadlocked. 4 points all between Manly and Newcastle.
The big pineapple, the big banana.
Yeah, and you can't beat the big brekkie.
An incredible game at the Sydney Football Stadium, leading the side they're playing tonight. Scott Conley brings it back out for the Knights, almost back to the 20. Heavy work again, Kosef going in low. It's Quinton O'Brien plays it, former Charger. Wanted a penalty there, didn't get it from Stephen Clark, and now it's Grief. Both sides using their benches.
I'll tell you what I have noticed is John Hopewadi looks like he's gone into the second row. The young guy, Andrew King from the Gold Coast Rangers, has gone on to the left-hand wing.
Peter Shields takes it up to the 40. Played on the last. Comes to Andrew Johns. Long searching kick, which was just a little bit too big.
I think you're going for the 40-20 there. Of course, if you kick in your own 40 and it goes out in the opposition's 20, you do get the feed of the scrum, and just a little bit too much on the kick there.
It's a beautiful spiral, but just had a little bit too much weight. It's going to be very close for the 40-20 as well. Tierney has pushed the pass on the Menzies. He dropped it. I think the pass was forward anyway. And it's Gidley who dances back through them. So a let off for the Knights.
Well, I know from experience of Bob Fulton, one of the things he always emphasises before the teams run out is the ball control, and I think you'd be pretty disappointed with the side at the moment.
Sean Rudder in 17 at dummy half for the Knights. On the field at the moment for Steve Walters as O'Brien takes it forward.
They're pulling over onto his back.
I think that's a little bit hard done there, by John Hopewadi. There's a play on for Matthew Johns.
Takes it up to within 30 of the Manly line, trying to get the roll going, trying to swing the momentum Newcastle's way. Grief breaks the tackle. Tierney got through another one as well. Comes to Reeves and he brings him down just 9 metres out. The Knights on the boil once again to the right-hand side. Matthew Johns is there. Steps past Tooby, was looking for a runner off his hip and couldn't find anybody. Plays it back to Runner. It comes to O'Brien. He charges towards the line and has lost it as well. Sedaris has come up with it for Manly. So a let off there for the Sea Eagles as well. Drop balls at either end of the field. It has been the story of the first half for most of this opening half anyway.
The one thing now we've seen the Manly side do, send their backs and they'll just run for a dummy half to make some good yards and get some good quick play balls as Kosef gets hammered in another great tackle by Johns.
It was just amazing for a halfback. He can hammer forwards. Hopewadi working it up towards the halfway line. Sedaris comes away to Brown, who has the kicking duties for the time being for Manly. I think that's a left hand on it there, but I'm sure the ball went backwards, Gary, back towards the Knights try line.
So did the referee, so we'll play on.
Craigie. Rudder taking it away from dummy half. There's plenty of pace. Now the asset at dummy half. Comes to O'Brien. He takes it 5 metres into Manly territory. Andrew Johns again. All about kicking. Gives it back to brother Matthew. One more tackle left for the Knights in this particular foray. Johns goes high to the air, looking for a gap. Reeves trekking across, coming through quickly was Gidley, but a great take under pressure by Reeves.
He's had a magnificent start to the game, hasn't he, this opening 40 minutes, Reeves. His runs from dummy half, his takes in the air, his tackles. He's having a great game. As Mackay now goes forward for the Manly side.
Yeah, that certainly takes a lot of skill, and he did it to perfection. Didn't take his eye off the ball. Got plenty of protection from his teammates. Well done.
Some heavy hits there. Torrens as he came away from the dummy half. Who's been tackled on that occasion is Tuvey. It's the torpedo punt down towards Hughes. Plenty of work to do at fullback. The Manly defensive line is up quickly to meet him.
One thing with their kicking game with the Manly side, they are really kicking to Lenny Beckett's wing on the left-hand side of the field. There's not one Manly player except for the winger out here on the right-hand side, so they're always going to kick back left. Probably thinking the young bloke put him under a lot of pressure in his opening game.
Ryan tackled by by Tierney. Still 7 metres on his own side of halfway. Rudder gives it away to Lomax. Quickly there was Owen Cunningham. Back out there for the Sea Eagles. Rudder away from dummy half, went straight past Cunningham. Picked up about 20 metres in the process. They've got one more tackle. Matthew Johns wanted to fast play the ball. He gets it away to Andrew. Again, a chip in front of Reeves this time, looking for an awkward bounce. But Reeves comes across, cleans it up. He's been very safe so far.
He's been great, I reckon. He's had a sensational opening 40 minutes.
Andrew King on the left side of the field. Comes back to Menzies. Tierney cancelled away from the tackle of Peden, who wrapped him up at the second attempt. Torrens getting involved now, trying to pick up some quick metres from dummy half. Field is there for the Sea Eagles. He reefs it back once again to that right-hand side of the field as far as the Knights are concerned. Hughes goes back inside his own 20 to field. Tackled by Brown, 30 metres out from their own line. We are locked up at Stadium Australia, 4-4 between Manly and Newcastle. Andrew Johns had some space to work in there. Peden has been difficult to tackle in this first half an hour. Matthew gets it back to Owen Craigie, to Jason Moody, and Hill and Torrens come to bring him to ground. He lost the ball in the tackle. Stephen Clark is going to rule that way. It will be a Manly feed.
Terry Hill had something to say to Jason Moody there when he finished that tackle off, but very good work by the wingers and Terry Hill once again. Really hold them up. Watch him turn him on his back, trying to flick him over. Very heavy stuff there from the Manly side.
Peter Mulholland is with us on the sideline for this opening game, and Peter, some understandable nerves, but there has been a lot of drop ball.
Yeah, this first half an hour, Warren, you're sitting down here just soaking up the atmosphere. I think the players are under the same circumstances. Very, very noisy. I think, as Glenn Lazarus said earlier, the side that there we go again, side that controls this ball ultimately gets to the end of the 6 tackles on consecutive sets are going to put a lot of pressure on, and I think fitness is going to take a big toll on this. The side that's fitter at the end of this match is, I think, the one that's going to come out.
Now, I think the reason there what Craig Field did put the ball down there, he was actually doing the play in his mind before it actually got there to execute it.
Back.
To the right-hand side, swung by Andrew Johns to Kidley. Mackay once again stretched to the limits of his defence to try and bring the youngster to ground. Lenny Beckett. So all the way to Hopewadi, who brings him to ground. 22 out from the Manly line. Johns stepping off the left foot quickly, trying to open up some space on that right-hand side for the Knights. Beckett is tackled once more. Still tackles to work with, though, and they are inside the Manly red zone. Here's Matthew Johns. Oh, great stepping off, both left and right foot. Got it back to the teeth, and Harrigan punches over.
Tremendous stuff there, Newcastle. The Johns boy, Matthew Johns, off his left, off his right, and the big cheek. I tell you what, he'd be very, very happy about that. The big front runners don't score that many. But once again, the Manly side come up very quick. What a step, left and right, and Harrigan just puts himself in a great position. Field tried very, very hard to stop the big fella, but there was no way they were going to stop him, Glenn Lazarus.
No, he got a bit of white line fever there and saw the line and went for it. Just amazing. A big left foot step, a big right foot step from young Matty Johns, and then of course 3 or 4 Manly players went to converge on him, and he popped up a miracle ball, and who'd have thought big Paul Harrigan backing up on the outside there to go over for a well-deserved try.
And the vast majority of those Newcastle fans who have come down in their dozens of buses to this amazing opening have cheered the man they love.
You just see it so often where there's a tight struggle for 35 minutes or so, and then all of a sudden there's a lapse in concentration and the side goes over. At 4-all, I thought Manly did enough to go in at 4-all, but at 10-4, the Majors knocked the wind out of their sails, and it'll be interesting to see whether they do actually come back.
Need to hold firm here. A dangerous time for them. The Knights freshen legs after that try. Ooh, good run there from Scott Conley, but he was well tackled down below by Nick Kosef. Walters. A little way to Conley. The ball ricochets away. Play on, says Stephen Clark, as Hopewadi comes up with it. Maybe Manly do get one last chance here to try and respond.
I just think Manly in their attack, they've got to start throwing the ball out a little bit wide. They've got two centres there that hardly have touched the ball. Once Terry has touched it, he scored a try.
Kosef. Good ball, short, sharp one to Albert Torrens, but he was well met as well. Jason Moody in there. Great tackle front on. Brown gives it away to Tuvey, standing wide. Second man played there for Hopewadi, who then tried to get it on to Cunningham, who came up with a mistake.
First one by Manly.
So Newcastle will get the loosened feed just outside their own 20.
You can see Manly trying to put a play back on the inside of the ruck area. Owen Cunningham come up with a mistake. The same with the big chief. They will get the feed in the scrum, and I think what the Newcastle side here will do will attack straight away. Get the ball to Craig and try to get on the outside of Mackay.
Nick, keep that head in. Keep it in, Nick. Keep it in. You go now.
Moody coming in off this left wing. Slow play the ball, and Clark had no option.
You got to get up
on the water penalty. He's had his hands full in this first half with the scrums and the play the balls. He's kept them pretty well apart. Minor altercation after Terry Hill scored the opening try. It's been bleeding hard for most of it. David Lomax bouncing through a couple of tackles. Some worrying signs here for the Sea Eagles. Glenn Grief. Oh, went head on straight into Kosef, who was laid out back behind play. Grief gets up to play at 30 out. Now it comes through. A beautiful ball to Billy Peden. They're not going to catch him. Here come the Knights. They're in once again.
Oh, what a ball, Paul Harrigan. That was just vintage stuff, wasn't it? Going to the line, holding the ball up at the last moment, giving it to Peden. Tremendous stuff. Watch it here. Here goes Paul Harrigan. Sucks him two there. Kosef would have been there if he hadn't been injured, but Billy Peden put himself beautifully into that hole. That's just magnificent stuff there by the lock forward.
Since the middle of last season, Paul Harrigan has undergone 3 knee operations. There was a concern for a while that his career might have been over in 1998, but what a game he's having here this afternoon.
Yeah, look, he's involved in everything now. He had a shocker of a start, but he's certainly making up for it. He's gone over for a meat pie, and now he's set up one. What can't this man do? He'll probably start goal kicking soon.
Well, he said this will be his last year. If he does don the kicking boots,
I doubt that.
That might be enough.
Well, at least he scored. But again, we're seeing the last couple of minutes of the first half, both sides very tight. I think the defensive line of Manly just got a tad lazy there, and they just went in on a big chief rather than staying out and being concentrating on the fact that he has got a runner outside him. But Big Chief passing footballs and everything, I just can't believe this.
Peter Mulholland, it did appear quite noticeable that the Manly defence had stopped moving up the way it was in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, I think you're right there, and Lazo struck it on the head. Young Adam Brown actually came in and sucked into a tackle, probably should have stayed out and created the hole, but as you said, Harrigan's doing everything at the moment.
Johns can stretch this lead to the even dozen. He makes no mistake.
Have a look at the Newcastle flag.
Now, aren't they?
Plenty of Newcastle flags around, Warren. It's just amazing how many people.
In trying to get points on the board.
Just over a minute and a half left in this first half. The Knights out by 12 now. And a slight knock-on here in the play of the ball. So Manly will get one last chance here. They'll have a full set of 6 to try and reply and close this gap to perhaps 8, if not 6 points.
Well, I think it's very important that Manly come away with something in this set of 6, whether it be 2, 4 or 6 points. I just feel they need a bit of a boost. They're looking pretty down and out, so they just need something to go into half-time.
Get it in, Chief.
Brown it is. Gives it away to Tuvey. Clean outside him, but he took the tackle. Plays it back to Terry Hill now. And the wraparound from the scrum was coming Nick Kosef, showing no ill effects after that big head clash with Glenn Grief. To Daris, stepping back towards the ruck, met by plenty of blue and red jumpers.
I think Manly just got to go wide straight away.
Tuvey, away to Brown, runs at the line, open up the gap. That's got straight to Andrew Johns. Another miscommunication in the Manly backline there. A chance wasted just before half-time. The Knights should be able to settle this and go into the break with a nice lead here, just seconds remaining in the first half. Andrew Johns sprints it wide to Matthew Johns. Maybe they're not done with yet. He shows it, gives it back to Gidley, to Owen Craigie rather. And there is the siren to bring us to an end of 40 minutes of football, which christened this brand new stadium. The Knights had to come from behind, but Manly, after leading 4-0, have given up a couple of tries at the death in the first half to trail by 12 points. They're going to have their work cut out for them, and they return to this brand new playing arena. It's been a stop-start half of football, plenty of mistakes, fellas, but the Newcastle Knights certainly can take something away from it.
Well, they can. I think Warren Ryan will be very, very happy with the way that his side has got off in this first half. But the big thing for the Manly side, I think Bob Fulton, he'll be a little bit disappointed with the defence. They've stopped moving up and let the Johns boys run with the ball out wide.
Right, we'll take a break at Stadium Australia at half-time between the Knights and the Sea Eagles. Newcastle 16 lead Manly 4. Welcome back to Stadium Australia. It is half-time in this opening game between Newcastle and Manly, and the Knights leading 16 points to 4, 3 tries to 1 in the first half. Just a section of what will build up to be a crowd of almost 110,000 fans here. Very few empty seats in the major public sections, a couple of empty ones around the stadium in the gold members area, but there you can see the stands at both the northern and southern end. They are absolutely packed with fans. 30,000 fans they fit combined in those northern and southern stands. And you can see a couple of blue seats up there in the very corners, but by the time they get to kick-off with entertainment a half an hour before kick-off between St George and Illawarra and Parramatta, it will be a sight to behold, there's no doubt about that. Glenn Lazarus, it was a very much a stop-start affair in the first half. So I thought towards the end of the first half, though, Newcastle's forwards had a little bit fresher legs than Manly's. I thought Warren Ryan used his bench very well.
Yeah, I must agree with you there, Warren. With interchange players like Glenn Grief, Clinton O'Brien coming on to replace guys like Peter Shields, David Lomax, Paul Harrigan. I mean, they just don't lose all that much when they rotate their players. So Manly have always got big guys coming at them and big guys tackling them, so they don't lose all that much, and I thought that it did show at the end there. I thought Newcastle looked the fresher side come half-time. I just thought Manly, those last couple of tries were just through a bit of, not laziness, but just through sheer exhaustion, I think.
Of course, we saw Daniel Gardner receive a very heavy knock early in the first half, and Nick Kosek also spent some time off the field. And Manly's forwards, Gary Freeman, in contrast to Newcastle's, did look a little bit leg-weary in that last 10 minutes of the first half, and that's where Newcastle did the damage. Yeah,
they did. And the big thing about it is that they stopped really moving up in the defence. I think that's what Bob Fulton will be saying. Listen, boys, you've really got to start going forward and meet this Newcastle pack, because the moment you drop off, it allows guys like Harrigan to pop those short balls, allows the Johns boys to step off left and right and pick up players that are going to run into holes. If Manly stops going forward, mate, Newcastle side can certainly put some more points on the board. And I think that Warren Ryan's done a very, very good job with his forward pack. They are going forward, and they are looking for options outside of just taking the ball up and getting a set of six done.
One real positive for the Sea Eagles was the form of Brendan Reeves at the back there. The fullback had a great first half, saved a number of tries, and of course took some good bombs as well. Well,
he's been under all sorts of pressure, you know, his first game in the first grade side. But Brendan Reeves, mate, he can stand up, put his hand up and say, hey, I'm here doing my bit. There's a few blokes around him who probably have to pick up their play to get up there to 100% what this young kid's doing. And I think all the new guys that have come into this side are trying very, very hard. But in attack, I think Manly, you've got to start using the ball a little bit more. Go back to that style that we used to see them throwing the ball around and having guys backing up left, right and centre. They're trying to play to Lenny Beckett's wing, who's a right winger, kicking it to the Manly's left-hand side. That isn't working. You've got to change your tactics.
Bob Fulton, of course, has got the trio out there at various times of Jeff Tuvey, Craig Field and Adam Brown rotating there in the halves. It didn't seem to gel for them at all in the first half.
No, I think they actually got in each other's way, especially when they're looking for the kicking game. If Tuvey was at dummy half or Field was there, they didn't know who to pass the ball to. I think, you know, the best thing is get Tuvey back to half-back and put Field at 5'8". I think Field's probably got a better vision of what happens out in the back line.
I think before they start spreading it, they've got to earn the right to do it, and that means going forward. I just don't feel Manly has the go-forward game like Newcastle does. We saw there one set of 6 in the first half where Manly ran 5 scoots out of dummy half. They made 50 metres, got a good kick away, and of course they had Newcastle under pressure. Maybe they're going to have to resort to that, but they've got to earn the right to go out wide. They can't go around them before they get through them. So I don't know. I just get the feeling that Manly, they just haven't got that extra bit of punch that Newcastle have. Newcastle earning the right to go around them because their big fellas are going up the middle.
Paul Harrigan leads Newcastle back out into the middle of this fantastic brand new arena. There's his stats from the first half. 11 tackles, 7 hit-ups and 2 offloads. Of course, one of those offloads led to the try scored by Billy Peden, which gave Newcastle a very handy buffer as they went to the rooms at half-time. A terrific half of football. The fans at the northern end of Stadium Australia absolutely loved it when he plunged over beside the post to score for them. And Anthony Butterfield, well, they're both 33 years of age. Harrigan's 30 and Butterfield is 33 years of age. It's a fairly veteran-like front row with Steve Walters wedged in between the 2 big front rowers, but
nothing wrong with that, Warren. Nothing wrong with that.
Experience counts for a lot. And they have certainly shown that today.
I don't have ESP or anything like that, Warren, but I dare say I could put a wager on and win some money. The fact that both coaches, the first thing they said to their sides was the ball handling was atrocious and they need to pick them up. I think the side that does do that the best will obviously win the footy game. I know Manly have got a lot of hard work. They're capable of coming back, but geez, they've got to start picking up on the ball handling. If they don't do that, this scoreline could be anything.
Jeff Turvey comes back out. Terry Hill there, the try scorer, the opening try scorer at the Olympic Stadium. Jeff Turvey will have to try and inspire something from his side. Gary Freeman thinks he should go straight to first receiver and run the play from there and leave the switching around perhaps later in the game if they need to try and inspire something late in the game.
Yeah, sure. I just wanted to get your comments on the referee's performance. How do you think he's gone today?
He's had a very tough game to handle, there's no doubt about that, with so much drop ball and a couple of quick penalties as far as the play the balls were concerned. He was quick to blow them up on those occasions. I think he just wanted to get the side separated early on and just get a clean flowing game. Unfortunately, we haven't seen that, but maybe things have happened magically in the dressing rooms at half-time and the passes might stick. We might see some good flowing play here in this second half. Steve Clark blows time on for the second half between Manly and Newcastle. The kick goes long and deep into the in goal, and it's Neil Turney who brings it back out for the Sea Eagles. He offloads to Terry Hill.
This is where Manly really got to say, well, we want to get back into this game and we've got to have a great go forward in a good set of 6. But I tell you what, the Newcastle side, Warren Ryan, so as Fitchy said, hey, you want to come through, it's going to be very, very hard. But I tell you what, the Manly side are looking different already.
Graham Mackay was well contained in the first half. An early touch here in this second stanza. Bouncing away from tackles there. Reeves plays it back to Sidaris. Running again. He's made plenty of metres from dummy half. And Cunningham comes up with it, still 5 metres on his own side on the last.
Can I say, for Manly to get back in this game, I think Craig Field's got to get more involved. I just thought he had a bit of a quiet game. He didn't get involved enough for my liking. I think if he gets more involved, Manly look a lot more potent football side.
Of course, that game he had in the semi-final against Canberra in week 1 of the finals in 1998 will be fresh in his mind. I'm sure it is in a lot of Manly fans' minds, and he'd like to start 1999 on the right foot here in front of this enormous crowd.
Get your seconds in, whoa.
They're just waiting for things to happen as far as some good running rugby league is concerned. John's from the base of the scrum for the Knights. Peden, one of the try scorers for the Knights, in conjunction with both Moody and Harrigan.
Well, already we've seen the defence from Manly is a lot more stiffer around the ruck area. Guys going forward. Well, just as I said, it was so much stiffer. The gets knocked off there, Menzies, but he'll be back. Don't worry about that one.
He ran head first into the Chief, who just bumped him away, and now here's Peter Shields. They look good with the ball, Manly, but now the defence once again is showing some wear and tear. Johns left it behind, picked up by Lomax, and it's play on. 2 tackles left, 10 metres into Manly's half. Butterfield will take it forward. Offloads a great ball back to Steve Walters. He was standing there for a moment too, looking for runners. Hughes is waiting at dummy half. Gives it away to Andrew Johns, away to brother Matthew. Good flat pass to Shields in a gap. The pass didn't go to hand. Now Moody puts the left boot on it. A chance here for the Knights. Oh, flying through, a terrific try. Andrew Johns has pounced, and now Stephen Clark is going to have a look if he was onside.
I think he was. I got a sneaking suspicion he was onside. I was watching him there. The guys that were offside stayed out of it. And
that's why we've gone to the videos here.
Andrew's come through and scored the try. I think he'll award this try.
Yes, it's number 4.
And this is what they're trying to look at. The kick is put in there. And I would say he's saying that number 4 may be offside, but does he get in front of him once he's kicked the ball? No. I wanted to see if he's going to say he does interfere with that Manly player there in Reeves. I think it's a try.
Well, the bloke scoring the try was onside, but there's a question mark over the guy that played a bit of a part in that try, so it'll be interesting what decision they come up with.
Well, if he's inside that 10, he's offside, so that means there's no try.
No try.
The video referee is John Gosher. This is a tough one to call. Of course, it looks as though that there's no doubt that Craigie is in front of the kicker, and
he steps back, doesn't he, after the ball's kicked?
Well,
that's tough one.
After is no good. It's what happens when the ball is
the ball
kicked,
accidentally left his boot before he stepped back.
Well, earlier on in the commentary, Gary said he was never wrong, so whatever you say must be gospel.
No, that's
mate.
only when I was refereeing.
It is a try.
I wasn't wrong again.
Andrew Johns scores the 4th try of the game for Newcastle. They lead Manly 20 points to 4. The blue and red flags wave. They are loving it, and Manly is in a lot of trouble.
Once again, Craigfield actually shot out of the dummy half area to chase the kick, but they ran up the last second. Peter Shields got away a pretty ordinary pass there, but picked up once again by Jason Moody. Puts a little chip over. We've all seen the replay, and Andrew Johns just backing up beautifully, straight into the sticks.
It's just a matter of staying alive, and Manly players have just considered that the kick had been put in, and was watching the footy when Andrew Johns just ran through and picked up what I thought was a relatively easy try.
Peter Mulholland, we said at half-time Manly needed a good start to the second half, and they certainly haven't got it.
No, you're right there, Warren. I think the one-on-one tackles too from Manly have got to improve. I mean, they're basically doubling their tackle count by being ineffective and allowing Newcastle to unload, and basically then they become very, very fatigued. And you saw that in that set of 6.
And Johns here can put them a long way in front. The game may already be out of reach for the Sea Eagles. Groggy on their feet. Johns just to the left of the post, puts it straight through, and the Knights in a commanding position. 22 points to 4. We still have
Mind bend, good friend, fun that never ever ends. Groovy movie, action that'll thrill me.
He's had a good game after coming off the bench. He's listed in the starting lineup. Certainly has been an impact running wide, and sort of pass there from Matthew Johns in that lead up to the try very hard, and he has proven to be a real danger. Here they go again, spreading it early. Johns through Gidley, who has made the mistake. Picked up by Reeves right there on the spot. His field presence and his positioning has been terrific.
The scary part about when Newcastle 22 points in front, they are willing to try anything, and they'll do anything on the first tackle, second tackle, last tackle. So you've really got to be aware in your defence as Terry Hill now goes forward for the Manly side.
Tuvia dummy half.
We just saw Graham McCoy run the ball up there, and he brushed aside a couple of players, made a good run. I think he's got to get more involved as well. His stand out here, I think he's a bit wasted out in the wide. He needs to get involved a bit more.
Tuvia, a long pass to field. Mackay, oh, well hit by Matthew Johns. Haven't they got some shoulders, the Johns brothers? Great in defence. Tierney takes it up. Still in about 5 metres, still struggling forward. Butterfield was trying to drag him to ground. One more tackle, a sloppy play of the ball. Sedaris eventually clears it. Here's Field with the cross-field bomb. Some pressure coming up. Moody was there trying to take players out of the way. Oh! Albert Torrens has taken a screamer and scored.
Well, are we at the MCG or are we at Stadium Australia? I don't know, but that was a magnificent take by the winger. And Manly have hit straight back.
They needed to, and it took them just one set of 6. The first time they got the ball, they have scored and put themselves back in the game.
Yeah, it was a very clever kick there by Craig Field, who's injected himself into it. But he really just got outside everybody. Owen Craigie, they didn't know where the ball was. And the little man, Torrens, has scored a tremendous try.
I think a lot of credit must go to the young Craig Field. Look, it was a well-judged, a precise kick. Up they go. And I tell you what, Craig Bradley from the Carlton Football Club be very, very pleased with that take.
Well, Owen Craigie didn't even get off the ground to contest the ball, but Jason Moody also coming across was just more intent on trying to block the runners. Well, Torrens just flew straight past him. As you say, it was worthy of any AFL match on any ground in Australia.
Well, they need to kick this. They kick this, their 2 converted tries away, gives them a glimmer of hope. They're not entirely out of it, but I tell you, if they come close, they've done a wonderful job.
And Mackay can get them back within 2 converted tries. Hooking towards the post and bounces away. Could prove to be a costly miss in the long run if they sustain this comeback. 22 points to...
Since we've been in government,
then have had by far the vast majority of it. Reeves again from dummy half as Field played the mousetrap. Sedaris, another slow play. The ball this time, Clark had no option but to blow it up.
You just can't lie there.
Well milked, I thought there. There was no reason why he couldn't have picked that ball up, but he went for it and paid off dividends. Now Manly will go deep into Newcastle's area and be on attack. It's an interesting ploy at the dummy half there, where they dummy one guy, picks the ball up, and then another guy comes through. I don't know whether they've changed the rules, but that used to be, you have to be within 5 metres.
5 metres of the ball being passed, yep. Well, leave that up to the referee to interpret that one.
Okay.
Here are the Sea Eagles inside the Newcastle 40. Kosef, way to Hill. Tackled again well by Moody this time. Got away from him in the first half, but on that occasion Moody was able to hang on to him. Sedaris. Through Tuvey now. Comes to Field. More involved in the second half. Reeves hitting the ball strongly. Was looking back on the inside for Hopewadi, who had overrun the play slightly. Field, though, they got a good quick play of the ball. It comes back on the inside to Adam Peters. He's within 4 metres. They've got one more tackle left. Tierney through Tuvey. They're stretched to the right-hand side. They're up very quickly there with Steve Walters, but here's Kosef's tackle on the last. A good tackle by Paul Harrigan, but there were men on the outside screaming for it. They couldn't get it to him.
Yeah, I don't think he could have got the pass to him either. As Jason Moody goes for a scamper up the middle of the paddock.
Neil Tierney it was who was hanging onto his jumper and now belting the ground once again, trying to slow the ball down. It was all over if Moody got in the clear.
Good defence there by Manly. They really have picked it up since they scored that try.
You just can't stand there. You can't stand there.
And there have been plenty of penalties. The slow play of the balls, and Stephen Clark, I think at one stage, if it continues on, might have to put somebody in the bin to try and clean this game up a little bit.
I'd just like to know, if that Newcastle player's holding that Manly player down, what is the linesman doing? Get in there and give the penalty to the other side. Well, wake up to yourself, linesman. Get out there.
It's good to see the old halfback is firing up early in 1999.
I can't believe that, though, Warren. What is the other linesman doing?
I know what the Knights are doing. They're on the attack again. Here's Billy Peden. Tackled down low by Menzies. Plenty of fire in the old half still.
I want to play.
Old being the operative word.
Here's Glenn Grief. Walters at dummy half. Gets it to within 10. Tracks back to the right-hand side, to the left-hand side. Moody does likewise. It's a crab effort. Oh, he almost hit under the tackle by Cunningham. Got it back to Walters. Oh, and Grief dropped it with the line wide open.
Almost a try from absolute nothing. It was just amazing how that came about.
The big thing about that, though, that the Manly side just stood there. None of them went forward to make the tackle. That's what's putting them under pressure. They go forward, put some pressure on Newcastle, stop them from offloading the ball.
Kosef dumps it back, comes back to Graham Mackay, and he's rodeoed towards the sideline. Here's a replay again. They got so close. Hughes came back on the inside, ducked through those tackles. There was the ball. A great pass here from Walters, and and it hit Grief right in the breadbasket.
Had every right to take that ball. It's another try gone begging. I think Manly have done really well there to get to the 40-metre line. They looked like they were struggling to get out of their own end goal, but they've come out of it fairly well.
Field kicks it over the head of Hughes, and it certainly is a good kick, Glenn, as he goes back to within 4 metres of his own line to pick it up. And then Tubi's up there very quickly to bring him to ground, just outside his own 20-metre line.
Well, on that set of 6, you said earlier that Craig...
There we go. Straight through them. That was Lenny Beckett getting up to within 10 metres of the halfway line. Some more missed tackles here for the Seagulls. Shields as Glenn Grieve takes it up to the 50.
Well, you're saying that Craig Field needs to be involved. He was involved in 4 of that tackles in that set of 6, and it was a great set from Manly.
Lomax gets it back to Matthew Johns, fires it to Andrew as if there's some connection between them. There certainly is that, as Gidley now is tackled. 38 metres out from the Manly line. Still a couple of tackles left in this set of 6. Taking it up, Clinton O'Brien. Now it's the last. Runner is the dummy half. Matthew Johns at first receiver. Spiralling punt flying up in the air. Field is there, or coming through was Andrew or Johns, or rather Owen Craigie it was.
There's that man again, Brendan Reeves, on the spot to tidy up what could have been a try if he wasn't there.
See, the Manly sides really are struggling to get back on side now. They really get the little men in the run from dummy half as Terry Hill takes the ball up to the 20-metre line. But their forwards are really struggling to get their go-forward going, Glenn Lazarus.
Well, yeah, we commented about it earlier on that you've got to earn the right to go around them by going through them. And Manly just, I don't know, I think they've got the players there, but they're just not putting together too much one-out stuff, I think.
Hopolardi clearing some tackles, got it back to Steve Crouch, a good tackle. In cover was David Lomax. Sedaris on the last tackle. Field again. Over the head of Hughes once more. Back to his own goal line. And they get up very quickly. To the end, Field is there. Oh, Field, great performance from him on the last tackle there, restricting Hughes to his own 10-metre line. Here's Craigie pushing away from Menzies. He's got the pass away to Lenny Beckett. Oh, stepped inside Mackay and then darted clear before Cunningham came across to clean him up. O'Brien, almost within 10 metres of the halfway line, tackled by Mackay. Gives away back. This time it's O'Brien. The tackle previously was Scott Conley in 16. Rudder a dummy half. Johns again at first receiver, Matthew that is. Andrew outside him. Didn't get the ball because it came to Peden, who plays it. Here's Andrew Johns now. A long-range field goal attempt. I'll tell you what, it looked pretty good. He struck it beautifully right between the posts. Oh, is there nothing they can't do?
Oh, like I said, Warren, once they get that far in front, they're not too scared to try anything on the last tackle, the first tackle, the second tackle. 23 points to 8 now to the Newcastle side as the big chief takes a little bit of a rest here.
I think this is one of the reasons why Newcastle are probably one of the sides to beat. They've got these brothers at the back of a very big forward pack. At the moment, Newcastle have Butterfield, Harrigan and Walters all off, and yet they've still got that go forward. I just feel as though they're a side that are going to take some beating this year.
And there is Harrigan, 15 tackles and 10 hit-ups, 3 offloads. What a game he's been having, and what an occasion to have it. Hughes gives it away. Conley takes it up, running very quickly. Once again, there a little nudge as he got back to his feet. No call from Clark, and says play on. And Hughes is tackled by Stephen Crouch. The boos coming from the northern end as the Knights fans appealing for a penalty, which doesn't come to them. Grief will play it.
Oh, good ball
pass
back
there from O'Brien it was. Got it away to Sean Rudder, who's up to the halfway line. And there are so many gaps around the ruck at the moment. Manly, if they're still in the game, it might not be for too much longer. Great pass from Johns to Billy Peden. He was trying to look for a runner back on the inside. And the ball was jarred loose in the tackle, but gee, there's some danger signs for Manly.
Probably the story of the day, just that final pass going to ground, but they're looking fairly vulnerable, Manly, out wide. There's just no communication there, and there's gaps appearing everywhere.
The big thing there, Glenn, is that the attack for the Newcastle side is spread right across the field of the paddock, whereas the Manly side, they're all in a big bunch, and that's what's given them all those options. The Johns boys got players who they can pick up at will, because players are putting themselves in positions to run into holes.
Couldn't agree with you anymore, Gary. You should be down there coaching, I reckon.
This is as close as we get to the field now, let me tell you.
Mackay will play it. It's Tuvey at dummy half. Opawati coming in to try and get involved and pick up some metres, but there haven't been too many signs that the Newcastle defence is about to crack.
Can I just say,
in
I
the
think
56 minutes we've had so far, Glenn.
Sorry, Warren, but I think John Opawati seems to be playing a lot better in the second row than out in the wing, so maybe that's where he's going to stay from now on.
Here's Tuvey. Got past a couple of tackles. Oh, stepping like Uraev. Gets it back on the inside before they bring that player to ground. Just 28 metres out from the Newcastle line as they go back to the right-hand side. Kosef put the pass away to Torrens. The try scorer in such spectacular fashion. He gets dumped on his head for his trouble as well. And now Stephen Clark is going to have a little bit of a look at this one.
Tuvey out here. Steve, thank you. Mate, he ended up in the air, legs up, straight vertical to the ground. Okay, no, mate, you can't do it. You can't lift it. So that one's going on report. You get it out, eh?
I'll like to have a look at that again, because they do make the tackle here. I don't think there was any intent to pick him up and drive him. He gets picked up there, but I mean, gets flung over.
A lot of those tackles look a lot worse than what they really are. I think the crucial thing is that I don't think there was a hand in the
there was no hands there. Yeah. What it was, one guy had him around the legs, the other guy had him over the top and just swung him over.
There might be too many troubles for Owen Craigie when they look at that one. Mackay gives it back on the inside for Reeves. A one-handed pass for Field. They know they need to score, and perhaps they need to score very quickly, as Peters is tackled, held there by Glenn Grief and a couple of others. Sedaris running away as he's done all match from dummy half. He's picked up good metres. Peters now in there at dummy half. Comes back to the left-hand side. Plenty of Knights there to greet him, though, as he struggles towards the line. Gidley is there. He'll play it. Sedaris, they come back to the short side again. Stephen Clark was in the way there, and Graham Mackay was looking for the ball.
Certain try.
Sedaris had to hang on to it. Now Tuvey as they go back to the right-hand side. Spread very wide. Field got a good pass to Hill. There's trouble for the Knights. Back on the inside to Torrens. Terrific tackle made by Scott Conley. That is 4 points saved. Through Crouch and Field. The kick came in. 6 to go, perhaps, as it bounced away from the legs. It is 6 to go, ruled by Clark. Tuvey has it. 20 metres out from the Newcastle line. 6 new tackles to try and work something for them.
We'll see Jeff Tuvey looked up to the referee straight away just to confirm that was another set of 6 to go. That's what Manly's got to do. They've got to start throwing the ball around and start backing each other up as now Opawati runs out of dummy half.
Conley brings him to ground. Try-saving tackle he made. Torrens, for all money, it looked as though he was going to score. Now Field fires a pass back to the knees of Sedaris, swings it wide. They'll score quite easily. Sedaris, great vision, and they have plunged over. Andrew King scores for the Sea Eagles.
Very good vision there by Sedaris, and that's what they needed to do. They needed, instead of snaking the ball straight up to the Newcastle side and getting bashed around that ruck area, get the ball nice and wide, put them under some pressure. You see the Newcastle players here, they all stop. Field gets away. I don't know how he got this ball away. It was tremendous. But Sedaris has hit Sedaris. Sorry, mate. That's another cousin of Sedaris. Goes in for a nice try there, Andrew King.
Yeah, full credit to Manly. At 22 to 4, you could be great. They could be forgiven for giving up, but they've hung in there. They've scored 2 tries. With 20 minutes to go, the game's probably still in the balance. But I tell you, if Newcastle go to sleep, this Manly side might just sneak up on them.
Peter Mulholland, it seems quite obvious that Manly's attack has certainly gone in this direction for the last couple of sets of 6.
Yeah, it's good to get a consecutive set of 6 on their line, and look, Craig Field, he has taken 2 or 3 defenders in with that little run, and he's done a great job, as we said, getting the pass away, and Sedaris has just seen that 2 or 3 players have moved off their man. Bob's your uncle with a great pass.
Well, you can see Lenny Beckett there. He's around about 20 metres in. That allows Mr. King to go over in the corner.
That's a line ball too, but the referee or the linesman was right there and he called it good, so we've got to assume it was a good pass.
Newcastle crowd doesn't think so.
Of course, at Stadium Australia, they've got the benefit of having super huge big screens at either end of the stadium, so there's not one person here who can't see what the replay showed them, and as you said, those blue and red fans weren't all that happy about it. Now a change. Graham Mackay has been replaced by Craig Field for this attempted goal, and hit it badly. The field has hooked it away. It wasn't a bad strike. They remain still 11 points behind, and that field goal from Andrew Johns might prove to be very important. Charging at the line. And so close to scoring not that long ago. A long pass. Comes away to Scott Conley. Pushes away from a couple. The Knights are back in. As simple as that.
Amazing game, isn't it? I mean, 1 minute with Manly looked like they're cut on the way back, and the next minute Newcastle were able to try. Just this basic error made, and they've paid very dearly for it. But Stephen Clark wants to have a look at it on the video referee.
I think he's a little bit concerned that the second row there's come on. He gets a little bit of a hug from his teammates there in Conley, but he's actually got the ball down. I tell you, Brendan Reese has done a magnificent job here to try and hold him up. Well, that's fair. That's a try.
Well, honestly.
Well, the referee, you can just see his legs going past in, so he would have seen him actually put the ball down. He would have seen Reeves' hand underneath the ball.
Well, he wants to pick up his pace. He wants to go and do some 100-metre sprints during the week, pick up a bit of space.
And I just did hear he has got the Melbourne game next week.
Well, let's hope he doesn't see the replay.
John Gosher didn't waste any time in awarding it after seeing the first replay, and Newcastle have extended that lead 27 points to 12.
Just amazing how the game turns. As I was saying before, 1 minute Manly look like they're getting back a bit of a revival, and one basic handling error which has been fairly frequent throughout the Manly's game this afternoon, and Newcastle go over for what I think was a pretty soft try, and he's brushed aside John Opawati there without much effort. So they're a bit disappointed. I think Manly and Coach Bob Fulton were very disappointed about that try.
Scott Conley, who started the game in place of Peter Shields, but both players have seen plenty of action, scores the fifth try of the game for the Knights, and Andrew Johns can put it more than likely well out of the reach of the Sea Eagles with this attempt. You can just about watch himself as he kicks it.
And I reckon he is.
That'd be a fairly daunting thing, watching yourself. Well, it didn't seem to worry him.
Well, he almost kicked it towards himself, didn't he?
That'd be a first, kick it and catch it in the same motion.
29 points to 12. And we've got just on 16 minutes left in this game.
Yeah, just seeing this once again. You can see how wide the Newcastle players are, but the defence from Manly, they've come up and they started to slide too early. Hopewadi got beaten very, very easily. And Kosef, I thought, just went wide. He should have gone straight in on Conley because there was no one outside him to take the ball.
Yeah, that's a cardinal sin, I believe, anyway, where you're that close to your line in your first movement sideways, and they've paid the ultimate price, and the guy just putting a bit of a step on, and you just can't. All you get is arm tackles, and he went over for a really easy try.
Lomax, as they work it out from inside their own 20. There's a couple of winners already this weekend. Melbourne 32 points to 10 over Penrith last night at Olympic Park, and then Canberra so impressive by beating the Brisbane Broncos 28 points to 20 as Walters pushes away from a couple. A terrific run from the veteran. Fell over there, perhaps looking for the penalty. Stephen Clark says play on. Andrew Johns now off the right foot, wrapped up by Neil Tierney, and now Stephen Clark is going to rule that as a player held back there. Andrew Johns quickly takes it on. Now, Neil Tierney was never even close to being onside, and Stephen Clark says play on. An amazing decision.
I can't believe that.
Well, Neil Tierney's certainly picked up an extra turn of speed over the off-season.
Here they go to the left-hand side. Matthew Johns had Shields outside him, was tackled, though. Just 5 metres out from the Manly line. They're looking for more points. To the left they go. Craigie it was. There was no way through for him. Still 2 tackles left. Shields gives it back to Matthew Johns. No doubt he'll find Andrew right on the chest. Players outside him. He turns it back on the inside for Butterfield. He wanted one more runner back on his inside. Hughes a dummy half. It comes to Andrew Johns. A little grubber. It was inviting and he took the chance. Reeves cleans up. Ducked away from one tackle player but put his foot over the dead in goal line. And the Sea Eagles will have to restart it with a goal line dropout.
Good reading there by Brendan Reeves. He saw that Andrew Johns had gone right around to this right-hand side of the field, put himself in a great position to get that ball. We'll just see him come into the picture right now. There he is. Great work by the young fullback.
Wasn't much he could do about that. I think he did the only thing there that he could have done and just made sure the ball was good.
How safe has he been?
Yeah, very, very safe. Safe as a bank.
The Knights bring it back outfield. Conley, the try scorer, plays it and comes back to the left-hand side. Oh, good run from Walters again. What an opening game he's having for the Newcastle Knights. Of course, a couple of seasons with the Cowboys after a distinguished career with the Raiders. And they're back within 5 metres. Conley a dummy half. To the left-hand side they go. Shields was there at first receiver trying to barge his way over.
I'll tell you what, that's a great tackle there by their captain, Jeff Tuvey. Took on Shields head on.
The ball has come loose, and Stephen Clark is going to rule that Shields has lost it while struggling in the tackle. The crowd find their voice at Stadium Australia. We've got inside 14 minutes left of this opening game at the brand new Olympic Stadium. And they're creating a little bit of history in their own right by starting the very first wave.
Oh yeah, get it in, Nick.
No members here to stop the process.
He will play it, frantically trying to get back to his feet. Fell once again. And Tuvey is a dummy half to Hopewadi. Sedaris works the short blind side. Tuvey was there. The ball comes loose, and Lomax is quick to grab it for Newcastle. And Clark will rule it was briefed out of Tuvey's grasp in the tackle.
I'll tell you what, I'd like to see that tackle again on Tuvey. I think Butterfield is the man who's come over the top. It is accidental.
That was what you wanted, Matthew, wasn't it?
There's Tuvey going to the line. And some of his forward should have turned up there. Nothing really much in that tackle at all.
Sticking his head where you wouldn't stick your foot.
What's that one?
Wow. He wants to stick his head in there? Well, that's what happens.
Only a front rower could say that. Craig Field. Oh, another heavy tackle there. Coming up quickly out of the line was Peter Shields, was it, or rather Clinton O'Brien, who laid on a heavy tackle. Now another loose ball. Matthew Johns is there. Oh, and he loses it in turn.
Come off a Knight's hand. Come off a Knight's hand, went forward.
And there you have it. Stephen Clark has ruled that the drop ball from Manly came off a Knight's hand. And Manly will get the loose and the feed here.
You're saying there that the ball's come off Matthew Johns before it's hit the ground.
I think he was exactly right. Kosef from the base of the scrum. Away to Hill. Apart from the opening try of the game, he's been well held by the Newcastle defence on that left side of the field. Field across the halfway line. Stepping back inside was Andrew King.
Good ball.
Oh, and Hopewadi had it there in front of him and couldn't pick it up.
Oh. Bob Fulton would be very, very disappointed. The ball control, the players are actually trying to put things on. There's a great ball there. Bob Hopper would have had this one easy, a little bit out in front, but they're just giving themselves a little bit of depth at the same time, allowing their players who are making half a break to back them up.
This game was due to be a home game for Manly. They were supposed to play at Brookvale. Last year at Brookvale, the Newcastle Knights recorded the biggest win ever over Manly there, and they beat them 50 points to 16. The only visiting side to ever score a half-century of points against the locals. They may not get there today, but it has been an emphatic victory. We're still just over 10 minutes left. There might be more points coming for them here as Peden takes it up.
Hold it.
Andrew Johns steps off that right foot. Oh, finds some space back on the inside. Hughes got it away to Butterfield. He put the years back, threw a great pass to Matthew Johns. He was looking to keep it alive, and they had them stretched across to the left-hand side. Manly trying to reshuffle a slow play the ball. Now they get it free. Andrew Johns gives it on to Peter Shields. Oh, Owen Craigie picked it up, but Steve Clark rules the ball went forward.
Well, I'd say the ball did go forward there, but once again, the Newcastle side, how long are their passes from dummy half, then out to Johns? They just cut them up. Look at that beautiful run into holes. He's very unlucky there. The Manly player got his hand on the ball, just ripped it out the last second.
Wait for the second rowers, wait, whoa. You ready, Jeff? Get it in, ton.
A number of chances that have gone begging for Newcastle in the second half. Brief Ducks under one tackle, wrapped up by Peden, who's had yet another good game for the Knights. 29-year-old, long timer now with Newcastle. A member, of course, of that side that took that famous victory at the Sydney Football Stadium against this very Manly Sea Eagles outfit back in 1997. Reeves, a dummy half. He's been extremely solid at the back all game for Manly. He plays it back to Sidaris. Spins it wide to Tuvey. Has Menzies outside him. We haven't seen the big back rower who wears the headgear running off too many passes into holes today. He's had a quiet game in attack by his standards. Kick now over the head of Lenny Beckett. Cracks back. Good tackle by Owen Cunningham. Returning to the Manly fold after a couple of seasons with North Queensland. Big effort by the front rower to get there and bring down the flying winger. Walters gets it from Hughes. Gives it off to Butterfield. 20 metres short. Still on their own side of halfway. Walters. Pass to Shields, who's been on at the advantage line every time he's taken it up.
But Manly, really, I think Bozo will look at this videotape and say, well, we've got to fix up one area, that's around our ruck area. Dummy half markers are just too slow.
Andrew Johns away to Gidley. Shows it to his right. Oh, back to Andrew Johns. He puts the chip in over the top. Hughes is flying. He couldn't get there. It's play on. The Knights have got it. Glenn Grieve got there. I think you'll find they've scored another try.
Had a first go out of that, just out near the line there. With the guy. Just see if he's got a touch to it.
Stephen Clark is going to make a bird of it with the video referee John Gosha, but it was slapped down by a Manly chaser. Hughes couldn't get there, but Grieve knew it was play on.
Pretty happy with it.
Stephen Clark, you
Yeah,
heard him say?
Just said he's pretty happy with it. Why doesn't he award it?
Back got a handle.
It was great work by Gidley once again. But what about the backup on the inside there by Johns? And he knew he had players coming from all over the place there. And Mark Hughes, the fullback, I thought he might have got a hand to it, but I think Hopewadi is the man with the right hand who's got it down. Tuvey gave a gallant chase there for Manly, but Grief, he's got the ball down. This will show it here.
Great vision there by Andrew Johns to see the players on the inside streaming through, chipped over the top. That's a fair try, and full credit to Glenn Grieve too, to just play on, playing to the whistle for all you youngsters out there. Play on until the referee blows his whistle. And that's a wonderful Newcastle try.
And Andrew Johns, a smile on the face. He is just an absolute marvel.
Just enjoys himself, doesn't he? I mean, it just amazes me how both of them, they go out there and they just enjoy themselves.
33 points to 12. It's approaching the scoreline that would indicate that has been very much one-sided, and for all but the opening 20 minutes, that's been pretty much the case.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with you there, Warren. I thought the first 20-25 minutes was pretty tight, but Newcastle just got that momentum going with their big forward pack, and it's just ground down Manly in the end, and they're starting to run away with it. But full credit to Manly. I think they tried and they did the best they could, but on the night they've come a very powerful, I suppose the word is, Newcastle side, and as I said, they will take some beating.
The chant goes up for Newcastle. All week they've been saying, the players, that the feeling up in Newcastle has been like it was in that week leading up to the grand final in 1997. The reaction from Novocastrians has been fantastic. And Andrew Johns certainly hasn't disappointed them. He's had a terrific game. And a couple more points to his tally with this attempt. And he's done just that. Stretches the margin out to 23 points. We've still got 6 minutes left. And Peter Mulholland, I know you're an assistant coach with Penrith these days. That bloke who plays for the blue and red team with number 7 on his back, he'd be a handy acquisition for the Panthers.
Certainly would be. I don't think we'd have the money to buy him, quite frankly. But the same story as last night's game. As I said, the go forward from Newcastle just got on top of Manly, and they haven't been able to handle it. And you know, a class pair of halfbacks as they've got in Newcastle has just dominated the game.
Halfbacks will always tell you they only play as well as what the forward packs have done, of course.
And I'm sure Wiz will tell you that, Lazo.
Only off air.
But of course, we're commenting about how awesome the forward pack was at Newcastle. Well, the Johns boys have just capitalised on that, and they're running the show out here tonight.
But Glenn, you've got to say it's exactly the same as last night. It's a pretty awesome packet you guys have got down there, and you've got a pair of very, very clever halves with it.
Yeah, well, yeah, I must agree with you. I thought forward pack played pretty well last night, and Noddy and Brett Kamali and Scotty Hill certainly capitalised on that, and they scored some pretty good tries, I thought, last night.
Comes to Andrew Johns on the last tackle again, chipping in behind the defence, this time for himself. He chips again. It's 4 Knights up against 2. Tony Butterfield was running like a flying winger.
He's out of the front rowers union, that boy. Chasing after chip kicks. God almighty. Well, what next?
He just pulled off a great tackle there. I think he wanted to get the ball over the try line. I thought Andrew John was going to flick the ball back inside, but he didn't. What about the hands? Once again, puts the kick on. And Butterfield, look at him. Get those legs up, lift those knees up. He's listening to that sprint coach.
We could comment about the age of the front row in Newcastle as well. They're certainly not showing their age out here tonight.
And Andrew Johns is just turning it on right now. It's showtime for the Knights. And he's determined to finish this game in a big way. They'll get another chance here as Sedaris lost the ball while trying to break free of those tacklers. And the Knights will get the loosened feed 30 metres out from the Manly line with just over 4 minutes left here at Stadium Australia.
Once again, it's just the defence, the quality and the technique that they use in Newcastle is really making the Manly players spill the ball. And the big thing about it, these guys are on the bench, and look at the scoreline. That's the scary part.
Matthew Johns on the first tackle. He's kicking. Oh, Jason Moody went straight past them, and he will score as well. Oh, they're unbelievable. They're in again. And the scoreline really is winding out now as we approach full time. An unbelievable try. Matthew Johns from the base of the scrum. He received the ball, saw Moody was out there. He was up against Torrens. Well, Torrens might have got the better of him in the try that the Manly winger scored when he flew through the air, but this time Moody counters with a great try.
Oh, tremendous stuff. Off the first scrum, first tackle, and they try things. That's what rugby league's all about. They've seen it, they have an opportunity, and these guys here, mate, they don't care if it's 10-0, 20-0, 40-0. They'll put anything on at any stage of the field, and it's just great to see young guys at this doing this sort of stuff and coming up with the right options, and a great cover there by Moody to pick up the ball and score the try.
It's all about expecting the unexpected, Wiz, isn't it? I mean, just straight off that, they've drawn in the whole back line. He's taken it to the line and they're away.
He's got to feel sorry for Albert Torrens, who probably thought they'd run the ball rather than kick it. He'd come up nice and flat, and he just gave away probably a couple of yards too much for Moody, who had too much pace from down that blind side.
And those sorts of tries are just results from hours and hours put in on the training paddock, practicing those scrum plays. And, you know, they obviously practiced a lot because that one came off with perfection, didn't it? It was just an amazing... I suppose you don't see that all that often, kicking on the first tackle after a scrum, but they're just full of confidence at the moment, Newcastle, and they'll try anything. And as you saw, that came off fairly much the way they probably would have liked.
I tell you, the thing that you said earlier too was about the defence. Warren Ryan certainly has added that dimension to the Newcastle side with his technique of defence.
Well, I just think the way that they're hitting and moving up, one's going low, one's coming on top, and really they stop all the offloads that the Manly's trying to produce here tonight.
Johns can add more points to his tally. He struck this as well. He is on fire at the moment. Isn't he loving it? We're just about at full time. There isn't long to go. The Newcastle fans are celebrating. Andrew Johns, he said during the week he's been having trouble getting to sleep, and he's been dreaming about what an occasion this would be, and how about the reaction?
Well, that just shows you the class of the man. You know, class players rise to the occasion. He's playing here in some 80, 90,000, and he's having an absolute blinder. Full credit to the guy. But I'll say again, he's only playing as well as the Righties forward pack would let him.
Harrigan takes it up. It takes 3 Seagulls to bring him to ground. Just over 1 minute left.
The other guy I think that's had a big game is the number 9 for Newcastle. I think he's had a wonderful game on debut for the Knights. Just looks ominous for opposing teams when you see Steve Wallace in full flight. And I mean, if this Newcastle side goes forward the way they're going tonight, I know we keep harping about the forward play, but it's such an important part of the game. If they continue to do this, Steve Wallace is going to have an absolute blinder of a year.
I'd like to see how many yards he's made here tonight. It'd be over the 150 mark easy.
Well, I'd hate to be paying him by the yard, I can tell you. I'd be up for a fair bit of money.
The Manly winger flirting with the touchline. As we count down to the end, what has been a terrific performance by the Newcastle Knights. Jeff Tuvey opens them up and then gets the ball back to Adam Peters. I don't think he got there. He was barreled into the upright. Stephen Clark is going to have a look at this one, but I think you might find the ball just came free at the last moment before he got it down.
I'll tell you who's the man who's made the tackle on him.
Yeah.
It's Butterfield. He's come from nowhere.
17 Newcastle.
And I think he has dropped the ball. Here he goes. That's a try. That's a try.
For a minute there, I thought he put it down in front of the post, which is a try. But he's got to cross the line. That's a fair try.
Adam Peters picks up a try for Manly. Something he can take away from the game on this historic occasion. The scoreline really has been blown out for some time. And it will be a little consolation for the youngster. As the full-time siren sounds, the crowd will let you know that at the northern end, the Newcastle fans have gone up. And Graham Mackay will have this kick to bring the opening game at the brand new Olympic Stadium to a close. Pilots it across, and Newcastle have opened up their account in 1999 with a great win. 41 points to 18, the final score. Matthew Johns, an outstanding game in tandem with his brother Andrew, of course. There was nothing they didn't do here this evening. They just set it up for a great doubleheader. St George Illawarra up against Parramatta coming up at 8 o'clock, of course. Plenty of excitement and entertainment coming up in the not-too-distant future. But what a game for the Blue and Reds. Steve Walters just simply outstanding all night for them, and you'd swear he was tailor-made to be a part of this Newcastle outfit. The Johns brothers been crying out, they've said, for a hooker of Steve Walters' standing and capabilities. And even though Manly were the vanquished, they will go across and thank their fans, as do the Newcastle fans at the northern end of the ground. An occasion that all of these players will never forget, especially the Knights. What a dream debut in 1999 for them. You have to think at this stage, with just the odd spare seat still available, that there is in excess or just around the 100,000 mark here in this stadium already. And it's going to be quite spectacular when the Lights take over. Parramatta do battle with St George Illawarra. But Newcastle, they've christened this new stadium with a blue and red win.
Yeah, well, the win was very deserved. As I said, I thought they pretty much, the scoreline says it all. 20-25 minutes into the first half, they just started to graft away and just wore the Manly side down. And in the end, Manly were virtually run off their feet and they ran away with it. But full credit to Manly. They came out as the underdogs and played very, very tough footy. And who knows, maybe if they hang on to a couple more of those balls, the scoreline would have been very different. But look, Big Chief looks very pleased with himself there, and why wouldn't he be? He's had a fairly good game today.
Yeah, he has. He put that one underneath the black dot, and he was very happy with that. But the big thing about the Newcastle side, Lenny Beckett, he's a new player. Like you said, Steve Wallace had a great game. And the kid that came off the bench, Scott Conley, I thought he played exceptionally well too, scored a very good try. But they're going to be very hard to beat in 99 Newcastle.
Let's go downstairs. Peter Mulholland has Matthew Johns.
Here with me is Matthew. How awesome is this, Matthew?
It's great. It's great that we've got a venue now that can match the MCG and what Melbourne's got. And I'm sure not only in Australia but all around the world that sportsmen are envious of what we've gone through today and what St George Illawarra and Parramatta are about to go through. It's really great.
Matty, the team's performance tonight, I mean, a slow start to it, but started to gel the second half as soon as your forwards got on top.
Yeah, really good performance, you know. Warren's been working really hard with the forwards, varying their play, and you saw a lot of that tonight. This has been really good, Warren. Malcolm done a tremendous job, and Warren's just carried on from there. He's, as you know, you had time with him as a reserve grade coach. He's just a professor in rugby league, and we're his students.
His whole game is based on that defence basis, and he's certainly opened up and left that attacking game of the Knights pretty easy.
He has, you know, but he's given us some things to work on. He said we had a fair bit of improvement left in us in attack, and I think, you know, we showed that tonight. I thought Manly played quite well, and but I thought our blokes really stuck to their guns, worked really hard on the game plan that we'd set, and it worked out well for us.
Matty, how hard is it to have a grand final atmosphere in March?
Well, surprisingly enough, we didn't really build up like it was a grand final. We sort of just had a normal build-up, you know, as per usual. And of course, when you get out here in this sort of atmosphere, you naturally lift anyway. So.
Matty, thanks very much. And with me now is Craig Field. Craig, disappointing result, but a fair effort. You stayed with them in that first half.
Yeah, it is disappointing. I mean, full credit to Newcastle. They come down to ball security. It is disappointing after an off-season when the boys have trained really hard and everyone's put in, and we've got a few new players and combinations have still got to get organised, but you know, just come down to ball security. You know, our kicking game didn't match theirs, and nice.
Craig, fatigue seemed to set in with that forward pack too. Late in the first half, early second half, you seem to be struggling to put them away.
Yeah, we went down with Daniel Gardner, and so we're carrying an extra one less forward, and you know, that sort of took it out of the boys. The rotation was, you know, pretty interrupting to the game plan and things like that. So, but we've got no excuses. We've got a bit of work to do, but you know, we don't want to play our grand final here now. We want to play, you know, in September. So we've got a lot of work to do, and you know, full credit to Newcastle tonight. But we just got to be positive and turn it around next week.
I know you're a harsh critic of yourself, but your involvement in that second part of the second half was a little bit of a spark for Manly.
Well, I had to, mate. I didn't think I had such a good half. You know, I put myself on a high standard, and dropping simple balls from the scrum, you know, that's just not on. And, you know, it's nothing worse than the forwards have to lift their heads from the scrum and see their 5'8" or their halfback drop the ball. So, you know, I sort of try and spark something into the game, but unfortunately, you know, the boys were a bit tired, and, you know, it just didn't happen for us.
Thanks a lot, Craig, and back up to you, Warren.
Thanks very much, Peter.